Hello everybody, GamerZ here. On December 14th, 2017, the FCC is going to take a vote, and that vote is going to decide whether or not they are going to repeal net neutrality. Now, if you're watching and you don't know what net neutrality is, it's the principle that ISPs, or internet service providers, must treat all data on the internet the same and must not discriminate or charge differently based on user, content, website, platform, application, or other things. Net neutrality came into effect on February 26, 2015, when the FCC reclassified broadband access as a telecommunications service. This basically applied Title II of the Communications Act of 1934 to ISPs, which basically compelled them to treat all data on the internet the same. In this video, I'm going to explain the importance of net neutrality and the potential repercussions for both consumers and businesses if net neutrality is in fact repealed. First of all, net neutrality stops ISPs from having almost total economic power. According to the principles of net neutrality, ISPs are not allowed to favor one site over another regardless of the reason. If net neutrality gets repealed, ISPs may find an opportunity to put a paywall on the internet in order to get featured. In other words, pony up the bucks or you're not getting put on the internet. See, the internet is the greatest invention of the 21st century, and ISPs know this. They know that many businesses rely on the internet in order to keep their businesses alive. This includes online shopping sites, online video platforms, streaming services, Kickstarter sites, banking sites, PayPal, Google. All of this is affected on the internet. With a great chunk of the economy poured into the internet, ISPs know that consumers and businessmen alike are not just going to give up on the internet. It's going to be a basic utility everybody uses. With this ability to filter out sites, businesses can see this economic power and take advantage of it by paying ISPs more money to basically bribe them to either feature their sites before others or to completely kill their competitors' sites. This sucks for consumers because that means some businesses are going to have a sort of a monopoly on some products, which allows those businesses to control their supply and artificially jack up the prices. A lot of economic power is given to ISPs when net neutrality is demolished. But they also get a lot of political power as well. Political figures like congressmen, senators, governors, mayors, and even entire political movements like feminism, BLM, Antifa, the KKK. If these political figures or political movements have enough money, they can pay ISPs to take out the opposing ideas since they will have the power to do that, therefore censoring the internet. In essence, with the repeal of net neutrality, ISPs could have the power to shape the minds of the people that use it, which, as we've already established, is going to be mostly everybody. Now, even with all of this said, I don't think much of it is going to happen. A lot of people try to act as a doomsayer and say the internet's going to be over when the net neutrality is repealed, but honestly, I don't think much is going to change. While I don't think it's going to be the same, I also don't think there's going to be such radical changes that it affects our everyday life. As you know, net neutrality is a federal regulation from the FCC. I think the main change with the repeal of net neutrality is going to be shifting the power of control over ISPs from the FCC to the consumers. This is why I do my best to preach pro-consumerism and encourage others to do the same. My number one principle for consumer control is to vote with your wallet. If you don't like what someone else is doing, don't buy their products. No matter how hard it is, no matter how much you need that product or think you need that product. ISPs are always going to compete with themselves. That means there's going to be an ISP that provides the internet for a better deal than others do. It seems that the great majority of consumers are in favor of free and open internet. So if every ISP is limiting the internet in some way, there can be one internet service provider that says, you know what, I'm not going to limit the internet. It'll be just like when net neutrality was in effect. And to do this at the same price their competitors are doing their limited internet would bring a bunch of consumers to that one ISP. And even if that option isn't available, for example, that one ISP that's offering open internet doesn't happen to exist, well, the consumers can just protest internet, boycott it, even though it might take a few months or maybe a year. ISPs will start to lose money by a long shot and then know that in order to get that money back, they're going to have to listen to their consumers. Think back to Electronic Arts and the Battlefront 2 fiasco. Reddit blew up and it got a bunch of people to hold off on buying the game. So much so that EA postponed microtransactions and even lowered the prices of getting the heroes. As temporary as this change is, it shows how much control consumers could have if they just put themselves to it. Now, the method to get EA to permanently take out microtransactions and permanently keep the prices the same is to not buy the game until they say they're going to do that. But with internet, it's a lot easier. If consumers just stopped paying for internet for 2-3 months, then ISPs would have a huge dip in their wallets. In order to please consumers and continue with business, they're going to have to appeal to the consumers. So obviously net neutrality is very important. But we can't wrap ourselves around the fact that net neutrality is the only thing keeping the internet free. Even with net neutrality gone, if we pressure ISPs to abide by the principles of net neutrality, then we can still have net neutrality. The difference is, it wouldn't be the FCC who's enforcing it, it would be us. And I think we can be a little bit more powerful than the FCC, just because we're the ones paying them. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on the matter. As always, if there's something I didn't cover in this video, please comment down below. I will do my best to answer any questions, comments, or concerns you may have. If you disagree with me, then please also comment down below, as I look forward to having a discussion with you. I'm very open to other sides of this story, and I would love to hear your thoughts on the matter, as you've sat through 6 minutes of mine. If you want to have more chill talks or just stay up to date on what I'm doing, please join the Discord, as that's the best way to get a hold of me, that's the best way to hear from me. With all that, I thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.